Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity for making this presentation. I am speaking more on broader issues of the impact of the pandemic and how the official statistics has been affected and how we should handle it. Uh, the impact of COVID-19, so the broad contours which I'll be covering is impact of COVID-19 crisis, what kind of activities have been affected, what statistical activities have been affected, especially the short-term indicators. Then we will look at the sources of data which is impacted because of the COVID-19 and what kind of remedies exist. And finally, I'll talk more about how the UN has been working for the improvement of use of big data. We all know that this is a serious public health crisis. Two speakers have already indicated the impact on various ways in terms of health, in terms of hospitalization, in terms of the second wave, and also its impact and how long it is going to take. People have made an effort to control this effect of the virus by lockdowns and various kinds of measures. But still it is not under control. You know that various effects of this virus. We have a very large number of cases infected. This is the latest situation which I get from the Johns Hopkins University website, which is 31.78 million cases. Recovery is good, 21.89, but still deaths are quite significant. And there is a high cost of patient care. So that's one aspect which is very unnerving, and there is no medication available, proper medication available. Some medicines have been prescribed. Hospitalization is a real challenge because then you have to have various facilities for that. It requires an ICU. What has been the impact? Economic impact, because of the complete halt of economic activities to begin with, and it's opening up now. There have been serious effect on the tourism and travel, of course, manufacturing, transportation, and the whole of the service industry, hotel, restaurants, and all such activities have been either completely closed or paralyzed and limping back now after the governments have decided to reopen it. And this had a serious impact in terms of lives of the people. I'll give you two main reports which have come out. One is the World Bank has done an assessment in June 2020, which says that GDP is going to contract by 5.2% in 2020. And this is a historic contraction. Per capita incomes will be contracted by 7% in advanced economies and 2.5% in developing economies. And that's an overall number within countries. Different social groups, different economic groups will be affected differently. And they are the lower in the economic ladder, the more effect they face because of various structure of the economy. Same thing which you can observe has been seen in the ILO report, which is for the second quarter of 2020, that there has been a drop of 14% of the working hours globally. Also in Asia Pacific, if you look at, this is the drop, 13.5% drop, which is quite a significant. 400 million full-time jobs have been lost because of this. It's going to be lost because of this pandemic. And this is having an all-around effect in terms of unable to meet the daily needs. Wages are not being paid properly or regularly, or being paid partially only. Workers are losing their jobs and establishments. They still are not back in their jobs. And there is a loss of income, especially for the wage board employees, self-employed households. But all this data is coming from the statistical system, the National Statistical Office's National Statistical System. There has been effect on the activities on the statistical activities. All the statistical activities also got affected because of this. And this assessment has been made by the United Nations Statistics Division of DESA, Department of Economic and Social Affairs, and the World Bank Data Group. The first round they did it May 2020, where 122 national statistical offices participated, and the second round they did in July 2020, when 112 NSOs participated. Further rounds will be taken up. Now, what is the observation? Observation is that first of all, immediate reaction at the first round was most of the NSOs tried to close their activities because there was so much of fear, and now gradually they've started moving to open the offices. And therefore, because a lot of our activities, the activities in the national statistical offices are related to face-to-face data collection, and that's a big challenge. And then became the working from home, which has become a new normal now. What is being happening, but it requires a lot of other support systems. Then there is no protocol how to work, what kind of activities can be taken from home, what cannot be taken, etc. And therefore, during the pandemic, we have a remote work, training, data collection, and data storage affected very badly. Low and middle income countries have been more constrained by the inadequate ICT equipment and infrastructure, which is one of the biggest challenges which we are seeing, which is not so much in the developed countries. And therefore, there's a need for development of investment in more digital technology for the national statistical offices. What is affected? The short-term indicators are affected severely because they all are dependent on the face-to-face data collection. And there has been reliance to alternative data sources, but that is first, the NSOs are not prepared to take up because they don't have the skills. And secondly, the data sources are also not robust enough to be taken as an official statistics. Now, what kind of impact has been seen? Look at the frequency indicators like income, consumption, and expenditure surveys. They were affected. Index of industrial production, which normally brought out monthly or maybe or shorter intervals, are affected. Consumer price indices, producers price indices are affected. Persons employed has been affected, then the reporting on the number of persons employed. International trade related indicators have been affected. Finance related indicators have been affected. And the national accounts, of course, GDP, we are saying that the numbers are, but there have been multiple revisions by the IMF and the World Bank because of the lack of strong data which is required for monitoring the macroeconomic aggregates. And therefore, also the economic sentiment indicators, real estate indicators, all of them are affected. Now, all this effect is because of the data collection systems. Now, data collection systems, if you look at, we conduct sample surveys, censuses, and administrative data. And we have also big data, which is inching in the official statistical system. Sample surveys, of course, first reaction was completely stopped it, but then they started doing it, partially successful, and therefore there is a need for redesigning of many of the sampling designs. That is one issue which requires real concern. In censuses, of course, many people postponed it or redesigned it, and that we have seen in Malaysia has done it, Indonesia has also done it, and that is, for example, population census, they have been affected. Administrative data is good data, but has a lot of errors because of this pandemic. And there is a need for improving that. That's one area which needs real attention. Big data, yes, increased relevance now, especially in the present context, and therefore a need for developing a system. Countries like Indonesia have a good system. They have been using some of the mobile data and other data, but not many countries. And that is one big challenge. I have tried to jot down some of the issues which we can see the sample surveys. My general assessment was that the people tried to switch over from face-to-face to telephonic surveys, through internet-related surveys, but responses have not been very good. And there has been very, very slow response to these alternative methodologies. Secondly, many times people do a lot of house listing before conducting a sample survey. In such cases, it has become all the more challenging to carry out these sample surveys. And therefore, there's a need to develop some other alternative methodologies, and things like panel surveys at times are very useful, where the new persons who are getting included in these panels are less. Censuses, yes, have been affected, but people found solutions. They abridged the information which is being collected. which requires collection of information face-to-face, modified the questionnaire, reduced the number of questions, also looked at the register-based information, used some ICT for collection of information, but to some extent, but it cannot be completely removed from face-to-face information. And therefore, the appropriate method is to look for identities created and use them for the purpose of censuses. So have a better system for unique identification. Administrative data, as I mentioned earlier, there are a good quality, but there's a need for reorienting. A lot of reorientation is required. In fact, these sources of data remain always challenged because of quality in which it is collected, because the person from where the data is generated, they are not statistically sensitive, and therefore there is a need for developing that sensitivity and regular training of those personnel for collecting the information and making it more automated. So make more computerized system which checks a lot of errors in the data which is getting generated. I'll spend some time on the big data, and this is what has been coming up, that this is a solution to many problems. A scanner data or a satellite data or a data from web scraping or a mobile data or even credit card data has been listed on that. But there are serious concerns. One of the major concerns has been the privacy. Second, the statistics laws do not have adequate mandatory provisions in that. Then thirdly, the obligation on the part of the national statistical offices will come to maintain privacy. And these are all requires proper legal formulations in the Statistics Acts, which are there in use by different national statistical agencies. Another important thing is the skill. Are we really skilled to do it? Have we really prepared people with the required skills, where you require a lot of data science capabilities? UN is working to support the use of big data for official statistics. There's a global working group on big data for official statistics. Indonesia is also a part of it on some of the teams. It was created in 2014, quite some time, when the 45th session of the UNSC Statistical Commission, and it has set up a number of technical groups, and these technical groups have been working on different issues. What is the agenda for the global working group? Provide a strategic vision, direction, and coordination for the global program on big data. Promote practical use of big data in terms of developing methodologies, in terms of addressing the legal issues, addressing the privacy issues, and also security and IT related issues on data management. Promoting the capacity building and foster communication for use of big data, because there is a lot of disbelief on the use of big data. Many groups of people, many experts, many agencies do not believe as such, and therefore there is a need to develop a public trust in it. The groups, the global task teams, which are working on different aspects of big data, are here. This gives great diversity of what kind of data we are looking at: mobile to scanner to satellite to social media, etc. And there's one group working on the training, competency, and capacity development. Try to do a little bit more on this group, which is directly relevant from the Statistical Institute for Asia and the Pacific. This is a training, competency, and capacity development, which is a very important thing. The three deliverables for this group were: conduct a survey, make an assessment of the national statistical offices, how they are doing, what exactly is the preparation. The survey has been completed in 2019. Develop a competency framework. What kind of competencies are required? This has been developed. And now the group is working on developing a maturity matrix to make an assessment whether a national statistical office is ready, and if it is not ready, what further steps it should take to become ready so that it can start using the big data for official statistics. I'll give you a brief on the competency framework. Survey was done, and the report of the survey was shared with the United Nations Statistical Commission in March this year. Basically, survey found that there is a willingness on the part of the national statistical offices to do it, but they lack capacity, they lack legal support, and they lack the kind of literacy which is required among the people to use this data. But what kind of competency framework has been developed? This is important. There are two kinds of core competencies we have done. These are the core competency and the generic competencies. And these competencies are relating to ability to acquire data, ability to process data and analyze data, and also visualize data. You must have seen many people have presented a lot of nice visualizations today in the first two presentations. And this is for the big data, how it should be done. And then areas and knowledge of skills on which competency is in terms of ethics and privacy, which basically a legal formulation, and mathematics, data management, statistics, of course, is required, and machine learning. That's a very important area which is required for handling the big data. Programming, of course, what kind of programming is prepared, and then naturally visualization. Apart from that, you have a social parameters on which competency is required in terms of team building, in terms of communication skills, etc. The maturity matrix is looking at different levels at which the national statistical offices are, like pre-foundation, foundation, practitioners, or advanced. And these are being assessed in terms of the legal framework, how strong it is, whether it is very clearly laid down, whether they can access to the data, because here a lot of data is in the private sector hands. And the private sector is not easily willing to share this kind of information unless there is a legal binding and because there is a competition. IT infrastructure. Many of the national statistical offices are not really ready to take up this IT work because of the very reason that it requires a lot of data storage capability, and data storage has remained a limitation many times. Human resource, of course, I have developed, and that is one area which we have to see how people are trained in different languages to use, different other materials to use, other applications to be used, and then finally they are to be assessed on how much they have used in solving problems relating to it. Finally, and then the last slide, what has been impacted on people in the national statistical offices. They are supposed to have a lot of disaggregated information on the COVID-19. Number of persons infected, number of persons serious conditions, number of persons recovered from the infections, and the whole of hospitalizations infrastructure. Many of my previous speakers have shared the information, and many of it is subject to a lot of conditions. The data, which is death data, many times is not very clear whether the classification of death is medically certified to be really from the COVID-19 or it is because of the other conditions. And many times there are a lot of misreporting. Many times they are underreported. Sometimes they are overreported. Therefore, there has been a discussion in various fora that we should look at the overall deaths in the countries and try to see what has been the impact in terms of increase of deaths compared to the previous couple of years. What trends have been. That will give probably a reasonably good idea what has been, because there has been a lot of arguments about whether the number of deaths have really increased to that extent as we are talking about, because most of the people are able to now handle the COVID-19 cases quite effectively. And apart from these directly related information on the COVID-19 infections, there are also information required from the national statistical offices in terms of employment, how much it is affected, how much access to the food has become a problem for the people, how much it has become a problem in terms of sanitation, because we have been advising hand washing is compulsory, but hand washing is enough water available to the people in different parts of the world, and how much effectively they are able to do it, and the availability of masks and other equipment. So this is a serious challenge which has come to the national statistical offices or the national statistical system, and what they are doing is trying to coordinate with the various agencies and providing whatever information is possible. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and hearing me. Thank you.